My concern comes a little bit with the lack of combination in centres and wingers having played together and their defensive reads. Katoni Staggs on debut, probably alongside Daniel Tupou, and Brian To'o alongside Jack Whiten out on the left. They haven't played football together, those blokes, and they're going to have some really big decisions to make in defence at important times during the game if Queensland can push the ball that wide, and they can under any conditions. Once you get Carlin Ponga working with Munster and Daly Cherry-Evans, they can certainly threaten you out wide, and the likes of Valentine Holmes and Dane Gagai can be very threatening out on those edges. I worry a little bit about the defensive experience in Katoni Staggs playing alongside Daniel Tupou and in Jack Whiten playing alongside Brian To'o. I think that's an area that Queensland can expose. They're going to have to win the battle in the middle to get the ball to the edges with time and space, but it's potentially an area where New South Wales could crack at a vital stage in the game.
Gus Gal said that New South Wales got lots of points. I'm worried about the fact that there's no Latrell and Turbo because they had such a huge impact in previous series. I mean, how do they make up for that lack of X factor? Or I think it might be a slight lack of X factor for New South Wales.
My view in Origin is that you genuinely need people that can force line breaks or missed tackles out of nothing individually. It's not necessarily a structure or a play that's going to get you into the backfield. It's going to be, one of these great athletes that can force someone to miss a tackle and get an offload and then have a player like Tedesco support. And then the players that you're talking about, your Latrell Mitchells and that sort of thing, they can make things happen by themselves. There's not a lot of that in the New South Wales forward pack. There's not fellas that are very steppy or able to push through tackles or look for one-arm offloads, which has been there in previous years. So there are limitations to their attack. If you get a greasy, wet night out there and ball movement is difficult, maybe relying on kicks to score tries. You may be relying on, just forcing passages through. We don't have a lot of line breakers in our team. Katoni Staggs can do it on his own, but there's not a lot of genuine line breakers in our team. They're going to have to finesse it with passes and structure, and that can be a little bit dangerous in Origin football.
Because I don't think that's where game management comes into it, though, and Cleary and Luai have the advantage that they play together and they just complete their sets, roll through their sets of six, get the big boys rolling forward and play that simple game. Because once fatigue comes into it, players do make mistakes, players do make errors.
Absolutely, I've no doubt about that. But there is a little bit less structure and a little bit less, how can I say it, strategy or science about the way Queensland play. Daly Cherry-Evans and Munster and these fellas play with a little less science. They're more eyes up and they're more instinctive and they've got footwork and they can make people miss. Where that's not necessarily the case with these New South Wales players. Luai can do it, right? But you need those big bulky blokes that can force their way, push their way through the line, get down quick, get their nose on the ground and make a play the ball, or get an offload and someone's in support. And Origin tries, they're hard to come by at different times when the teams are equal. So they're the things that I look for that New South Wales have got to contend with to get the points they need to win.